Trinity Loren was born Joyce Evelyn McPherson on August 21st, 1964 in La Jolla, California, a sun-drenched seaside community within the greater San Diego area. Raised in a working-class family, Joyce grew up during a transitional period in American culture. The rise of cable TV, a conservative Reagan-era backlash to the 1960s sexual revolution, and the growing visibility of adult media as both entertainment and controversy. The debut. Little is publicly known about her childhood, but several former colleagues have described her as smart, sensitive, and a dreamer. She struggled with body image early on, feeling awkward and self-conscious about her rapidly developing figure, which included a naturally large bust that would later become her trademark in the adult industry. After graduating from high school in the early 1980s, Joyce briefly held a series of mundane jobs, waitressing, clerical work, and retail, before being introduced to the Southern California exotic dancing scene by a friend. Her stage name evolved several times before settling on Trinity Loren, a name meant to evoke both religious mystique, Trinity, and European glamour, a nod to Sophia Loren. Trinity made her mature film debut in 1984 or 1985, depending on differing sources. She entered the industry at a time when VHS technology was exploding, transforming the way mature content was consumed, from theaters to private homes. Trinity's curvaceous figure, radiant smile, and energetic performances quickly set her apart from the wave of petite, blonde stars who had come to dominate the scene. Her natural measurements, reportedly 44 DD, 26-38, were not only unusual for the era, but also deeply coveted. While many stars would later pursue surgical augmentation, Trinity's appeal lay in her authentic voluptuousness, often compared to vintage pin-up queens or 50s film starlets. She became a staple of the big buzz genre, though her talents were by no means limited to that niche. Her relaxed screen presence and ability to project warmth, sensuality, and confidence helped her land roles across numerous mature subgenres, from comedic parodies to softcore romance, and even edgier fare that flirted with BDS. Notable films and industry success. Over the course of her career, Trinity Loren appeared in more than 180 titles, with some estimates going as high as nearly 300. Notable works include TNA Academy, 1986, Beverly Hills Madam, 1987, Chameleons, 1989, The Big Thrill, 1990, Trinity Does Dallas, a play on the iconic Debbie title. Her work with studios like Caballero Home Video, Vivid Entertainment, and Western Visuals helped cement her status as a reliable and bankable performer. She often worked with other stars of the golden age of mature cinema, including Nina Hartley, Peter North, Ron Jeremy, and Ginger Lynn. Loren was also frequently featured in mature magazines, such as Hustler Busted Beauties, Voluptuous, and Score, where she was hailed as a definitive real big bust model in an era before Photoshop and implants dominated the genre. Her photo layouts and interviews often painted her as a shy but deeply sensual woman who valued authenticity and connection with her fans. Off-camera struggles. Trinity was married for a time to fellow mature actor Barry Woods, known professionally as Shane Hunter. The pair had a daughter, Tess, born in 1990. Despite moments of domestic happiness, their relationship was fraught with tension due to career instability, substance issues, and intense scrutiny of the mature industry lifestyle. After their separation, a bitter custody dispute ensued. Trinity lost full custody of her daughter following a prolonged legal battle. The emotional toll of this loss would haunt her for the rest of her life, contributing to a long downward spiral. In interviews, close friends noted that the loss of Tess marked the beginning of a severe period of depression and instability for the actress. By the mid-1990s, Trinity had exited the mature industry for good. The emergence of HIV/AIDS within the industry, the growing pressure conformed to surgically enhanced standards of beauty, and her own emotional burnout led her to withdraw from public life. Addiction, isolation, and unfulfilled redemption. In the years after her departure from mature films, Trinity attempted to reinvent herself. She moved to Texas to be closer to extended family and to seek stability. During this time, she tried her hand at writing and began working on an autobiography, excerpts of which were reportedly shared with a few trusted colleagues. The manuscript, however, was never published and has since vanished. Her depression deepened, and Trinity developed a dependency on prescription painkillers and anti-anxiety medication. Friends have claimed she suffered from undiagnosed or untreated bipolar disorder, a condition that may have contributed to both her creativity and her volatility. Despite these struggles, she made several attempts at recovery. She enrolled in a rehabilitation program in California, where she reportedly showed signs of improvement and expressed a desire to return to her first loves, writing and photography. She also tried reconnecting with Tess, who was in her early teens at the time. Death and speculation. On October 24th or 25, 1998, Trinity Loren died in her Burbank apartment. The exact cause of death remains disputed. Official reports cite an accidental overdose of prescription medication, though some sources claim she died from a brain aneurysm. She was just 34 years old. Her death went largely unreported in mainstream media. Unlike some of her contemporaries, Loren was never inducted into the AVN Hall of Fame, and few public tributes were made at the time. Nevertheless, her fans and colleagues have continued to remember her in online forums, tribute sites, and retrospective documentaries. Trinity was buried at Oakwood Memorial Park Cemetery in Chatsworth, California, under her legal name Roxanne McPherson, the name she adopted during her final attempts at rebuilding her life. Cultural impact and legacy. Though often overlooked in retrospectives dominated by more mainstream mature stars, Trinity Loren occupies a unique space in mature film history. She embodied a kind of unapologetic sensuality rarely seen in the polished, commercialized industry that emerged in the 2000s. She was part of a generation that transitioned mature entertainment from its rough, theatrical roots into an era of personal expression and sexual experimentation. She was frequently cited by later stars in the big bus niche as an inspiration. Forums like the Boopedia, the Rialto Report, and fan-generated archives have preserved her scenes, interviews, and photos, allowing a new generation to rediscover her contributions. In recent years, conversations around mental health, consent, exploitation, and post-industry care in the adult business have brought new attention to figures like Loren, whose stories serve as cautionary tales, but also reminders of humanity behind the image. Final notes. Trinity Loren was more than a mature film star. She was a daughter, a mother, a writer, and a woman who, despite tremendous pain, sought connection and love. Her legacy is a complicated blend of beauty and loss, laughter and longing. As one tribute page poetically described her, she gave joy to thousands, but struggled to find her own. Her curves turned heads. Her soul sought peace.